it's chaotic. You're out there, you're on tour, and tour life is crazy. Zebrahead's just like, I'm telling you, it's just a fun band. You're in a different city every night, you're driving, you're on the bus, and from Germany to Poland or France, wherever. Every night's just insane. And then, the last 3 days before tour is over with, my brain starts to shut down because I know that I'm going home.
Oh, right,
it starts to unwind from all the chaos. And I get home, and this has happened a lot of times. Sometimes I land at LAX, and I go straight from LAX to Goodfellas because I have to DJ. I like to work. I like to stay busy.
What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Adrian Estrella. I was born in Germany, but I live in LA.
Can we just take, before we even get into this, can we just take a breath and be grateful for the fact that all three of us, me, Michelle Zuno, and Adrian Estrella, is live in the room with us tonight. And after 15 attempts, we made it.
Oh,
16's a charm.
Yeah, I guess that's where we're at now. So,
God.
yeah.
But isn't that funny that sometimes those best or most unique moments always have to be like over a hurdle of some sort?
I think that's kind of how it works, right? It's like sometimes when and not saying that it was forced, right? Like we wanted to make this happen.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, it was either I had something last minute or something come up or vice versa. And it's like, now we're here. And it couldn't have worked out more perfectly.
I'll go ahead and take ownership, Michelle. And
Freddy's
it was
fault.
my fault because when Cola calls me, I almost can't say no. But it was like, man, at some point, I can't always have to reschedule. But Adrian Estrella is here live in the city of Montclair.
Yeah, it's
welcome.
good to be here. Yeah, I haven't been in Montclair in a minute, and I live right down the street.
Oh, that's
Do you really?
Yeah, I live
Where?
in Rancho. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Where did you go to high school at?
So, that's a crazy story. I went to high school in Dominican Republic.
No
Really?
kidding.
Yeah. So I have kind of a weird, crazy story about that. If you guys want to start from the beginning, we can do
let's
that.
do
But,
it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
My mom is German and my dad's Dominican.
Okay.
And my dad was in the army, met my mom in Germany, had my sister, and then I came out, And so we grew up for a couple years in Maryland because he was stationed in Maryland. And then he got stationed in Germany for the rest of his career. So like another 15 years or something, or 12 years in Germany. I did, he was stationed out in Germany. So I grew up in Germany.
Wow.
I was always on a military base. So all my schools were American schools, did elementary, everything up until 6th grade. Actually 7th grade. So all the way up until 7th grade in Germany. And then my parents got divorced and I moved with my dad to Dominican Republic. And I did high school in DR. I didn't know how to speak Spanish either. Like nothing.
Do you now?
We had it. Yeah, now I'm great. Yeah, or great. It's Dominican Spanish. We can call that great. But
What's better than me?
we had a tutor. I remember we had this German tutor, and I remember I thought she was so pretty, so I never heard a thing she said. You know what I mean? So
They're all just looking at you.
yeah. So I went to Dominican Republic with like the basics, like "Hola, cómo estás? Me llamo Adrian."
Mm-hmm.
Just the bare minimum. But yeah, having to get thrown into 8th grade, I had to learn. But I was always pretty good at picking stuff up pretty quick. So yeah, I learned, got through 8th grade, and then did the rest of high school in DR.
You speak
which is
German
cool.
also?
Yeah, I speak German.
Sweet.
But yeah, it was pretty cool growing up in Dominican Republic and in Germany, of course. But the DR is rad. I mean, back then,
Yeah, it is.
I didn't need a driver's license to drive. So I'm 12, 13, driving a truck on the roads. Always had motorcycles.
Because you see those videos of you go to a third world country and you want to go on this beautiful lake, so you have to get this little boat, and then this 12-year-old little boy is driving you.
Driving. Yeah, 100%.
On a boat and a car
On a boat.
and anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's I got you. Just come on in. And we're like, all right, let's go.
This is totally safe. Right now, right? Yeah, I remember just always riding motorcycles and stuff too. And I remember I wrecked, being an idiot. I was a kid. I wrecked my dad's girlfriend's scooter because I went through an intersection and didn't stop. And this other motorcycle I'm surprised I lived because that bike was trashed.
Jeez.
But I grew up riding horses and always wanted to be a cowboy when I was a kid because my dad had cows and stuff, so I'd wrangle them. I'm on this big old horse. I'm like,
no
what?
kidding. Wow.
What a good experience.
So So when you came to the United States, I mean, was there shock value in that? I mean, or did you kind of have expectations of it already? Or
Well, I kind of knew just because my dad being in the Army and stuff, kind of growing up as a military kid on base, like all our schools when we were in Germany were all on base, and we lived off base. But yeah, I kind of knew, and like growing up in Dominican Republic, me still being like an American citizen as well, it was always MTV.
Yeah.
And I was like watching all these,
yeah.
like how I found out about Warped Tour was MTV, and I was like, one day I'm going to play Warped Tour. And fast forward many years later, I played a lot of Warped Tours, but
That is so cool.
I used to hate when they cut off the music videos. I was that much of a fan, and I used to hate it. And I said, I don't want to see you, Carson Daly. Keep that video going.
Seriously. I always remember, because I was always kind of like a night owl. My dad was a very bad alcoholic, like very abusive. We got my sister out of the country. I couldn't get out of the country, like at that time. So that's a whole crazy thing, yeah. But I remember I would wait till my dad passed out, and I'd be up all night, and we'd watch I think it was like at midnight where they'd release new songs, like new artists.
Right.
I remember it was like Chevelle at the time came out, like
okay.
Blink-182 came out, like, and all those like awesome moments.
Because there was like a whole nother world on
At
the flip
night.
side of that.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt. Although, I guess for me, when everybody else is asleep and the whole world feels like it's asleep and I'm the only one awake, there's something that's, it just puts juice inside of me. And my creative energy just goes.
It's different.
I'm a night owl.
Yeah. Have you ever been to the Dominican Republic?
Twice.
What?
Is that where you went to that cave nightclub? Is that where the story's from?
Yeah.
Okay, so Adrian, you got to hear.
Oh, no.
It's before we move on from Dominican Republic, before I forget, because you had a pretty crazy story going to a nightclub in the DR.
cave.
Yeah.
And there was bats in there and everything. It was, the kind.
Yeah.
But it was a little commercialized because, it was right there next to Hard Rock and all the other.
Was it Punta Cana?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I know exactly where.
So a lot of celebrities go, different things like that. So there was a basketball player who shall not be named on air that was hanging out with his crew, kind of had a lot of security, everything like that. So we knew he was important. You could kind of tell. And then I didn't know who it was until I got up closer. He has a kind of a distinctive face. And hanging out, some girls were crowded around him. And I guess if you were a really pretty girl, they'd bring you up to the platform to take a picture with him and do all that stuff. And me and my sister and two of my other friends, we hung back a little bit. One of my friends went up there to go take a picture. My feet were hurting. So I just stood up on this platform like, these heels are killing me. I'm going to take a break in the back. And I recognized one of the security guards. He comes up to me. Yeah. He goes, we're about to go to our hotel. We're going to go to another spot first. And you have friends with you? I'm like, yeah, there's two of them. One's right here getting the drink. And then my sister's right here. I have another friend in the back. He's like, you want to come hang out with us and go with us? I'm like, okay. I have a few drinks in. I don't know. I'm not in a country. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, sure, why not? Liquid courage, right? So I say sure. They take us out the back because there was too many people in the front.
Yeah.
We're going to crowd around him. We go to the back. It's a big tour bus. We're walking under the tour bus. We sit down. There's curtains on it. And they say, okay, you have to turn in all your cell phones.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh, my gosh. I'm like, I don't even know where we are. And we're not near our hotel.
Yeah.
And I'm going, are you girls okay with this? And they're like, yeah, we're fine. I'm like, oh, if I die, if I die, I don't know. And so whatever. We're young, dumb. We give up our cell phones. And the guys seem really, really nice. They're really respectful. Like they're making sure our seatbelts are on. We're kind of safe, whatever. But I remember we're driving for a while. So I'm peeking out the curtain and the guy comes behind me and he's like, swoop, moves it. And he's like, don't look out the curtain. I'm like, great. So if I didn't feel nervous before, I'm nervous now.
Now you're definitely nervous, yeah.
We go into this strip mall looking place and
it's always a strip mall, isn't it?
Yeah, no one there. There's hardly any cars. I'm like, is this a movie set? Is it like a studio? I'm thinking something like that. We all get out. The guys get out. He gets out. And we walk in and it's a strip club. It's like a hidden strip club. And I don't know if you've ever been to the strip club in the DR. You don't have to tell us.
I was too young. Yeah, I was too young.
And it's one of those where there's no rules. You can kind of do whatever you want. They put us in a room. They sit me next to him. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? Like kind of and the security guards really like, don't touch him, don't get too close to him. And he puts like his clothes on the side. I remember like trying to push him over so I don't sit on him. And his security guard's like, whoa, what's going on? I'm like, I'm just moving his hat and shirt over. I don't want to sit on him. Like, geez, these people are a little hostile. But he ended up being really cool. He was tipping the girls. They were asking like, which girl should I bring back with us? And, a couple drinks in, I'm like, that girl, sure, why not? All silly, like, you're picking all the girls that I think
That's
are
a good wingman
are
right
good
there.
right
Right,
now,
I know.
right? And I was the one sitting next to him, so I'm like, well, from your point of view, let's see what we got here. Now bring the next row, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
They let like those girls go, brought in another line of girls, and we picked those ones, got another line of girls. Then they said, okay, we were there for quite a while. Our flight was something crazy early in the morning, like 7:30. We had to be at the airport really early. It's like 4 at this time. And I'm like, yeah, we got to go. They wanted us to go back to the hotel room. I'm like, can you please just drop us off at the hotel that we got with you guys at? And they're like, no worries. So dropped us off. I think we got one of the guys' numbers. Never called them, but got one of the guys' numbers. And like, you guys were really cool. If you want to hang out with us in the future and all that. I just thought it was really weird that he's married. So I knew that. And I'm like, all these girls going back to your hotel room. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I thought about, I just helped pick these girls. What kind of girl am I? But I didn't know if it was for him. I didn't know if it was for his boys. I don't know. I'm none of my business. I didn't go back into the hotel room.
That's not a, like, I was thinking it was going to go a completely
No.
different direction.
No. They were
So
actually
I'm
pretty
glad
cool.
it was good.
Yeah, they weren't
for
a
the most
rowdy
part.
crew at all. They were really cool. It's just that, that's why I'm not going to say the name on air. It's like one of those things where that's why they take the phones away and so you can't see what they're doing.
But Michelle, you lived a pretty crazy life when you were young.
Yeah.
When you were young, you were like,
Party, Michelle?
Okay, think of like blue sports car, stick shift, racing people down the street. That was her.
Really bad.
Like, always getting into trouble.
6
like,
speed.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Wow.
It was a fun life.
Man. And so you kind of fell into this whole other world at night, and you're starting to discover that there's these cool bands and musicians, and you're just like, man, that's so freaking cool. When in your life did it click that you said, hey, maybe this is something I
Music?
can do? Yeah.
Oh man, I'd have to say it was in Germany with my mom. I think I was like 9 or 10.
That young?
Yeah, she took me. Well, I've always done music, even before that. But when I like actually knew, my mom took me to a Chuck Berry concert.
No.
And,
that's nice.
And it was a little VFW hall in Germany, probably like 200 cap room, 300 cap room, so not a big room.
Yeah.
And I remember he was old back then, what I mean? Or at least, as a kid, like I'm
Yeah.
9 years
It's
old.
like one of
he's,
those guys who's always old, like Morgan
He's been
Freeman.
old forever.
Exactly,
Yeah.
old forever, but
Yep.
like totally awesome.
Yeah.
And I remember he just came out and he this burst of energy that I felt. I'd never felt anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been to concerts before, but like I think it was because it was so intimate.
Right.
And but that energy in that room, I mean, people were dancing. It was just overwhelming, like feeling. And I remember looking at my mom and I was like, one day I'm gonna do that. Like that's what I'm gonna do. Like
There's some people who just naturally have this aura about them when they walk on stage, when they walk in a room. Because I've been to a million concerts, and there's some artists who, when they start playing, their music comes together, it's great. And then there's some artists who just walk on stage, and there's this glow, and it gravitates towards the rest of the audience. And I guess maybe Chuck Berry had that.
dude, he had that.
He had
Like,
good energy.
It was just electric, like. I remember I probably didn't sleep that whole night. I was just like listening to old albums.
Yeah.
And at the time too, I used to love like golden oldies and stuff. And used to like,
I still do.
I still do as well, And I was like, my mom calls me an old soul because like, I always play like even like 40s, like World War II era music and stuff like that too. Just something romantic about it. And, but yeah, that was like when I knew for sure. And then, I was like, that was my, I had a couple of goals in life. I wanted to be either a helicopter or airplane pilot because my dad flew airplanes and stuff too, or go into special forces or music. That was like my three things.
Your dad was a pilot?
Yeah, he flew airplanes and stuff. when I was growing up.
Yeah. See, I'm about one check right away from
I
getting the
know.
license.
I'm so stoked for you, dude. by
Thank
the
you,
way.
thank you.
That is the coolest
It's-
thing.
See, now when you I guess when you're in the military, that's probably the smart thing to do because you get it paid.
Yeah, it's free.
And when you're just a regular civilian, you got to pay in.
Man,
It's
it's
a lot.
so expensive.
It's a lot of money. But when I get my license, we'll go up.
Oh, we'll go up, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was every Sunday. Every Saturday we go to the gun club, and every Sunday we go flying.
That's awesome.
So it was just rad. And then he started doing crop dusting in Dominican Republic.
That's
and
a,
that
that's
was
a
pretty,
heck of a fly. That's something else, man. To
That's
do
a
that?
one-seat airplane, right?
Yeah.
I would sit on the window.
No.
Not even kidding. On the window of the airplane, holding on, like one butt cheek out, the other half in, and like he would be going like what they do is they go down on the field, and right before they hit the whatever the line of that field is, the limit or what is it called? Just like where the field ends, and there's another field. There's also like a bunch of trees. They pull up, flip it around, and go back down. And he would do that. I'm just like, I think back on my childhood, I'm like, dude, CPS would have been called for so many different reasons. You know what I mean?
But remember, over there, you think you get away with that stuff.
Yeah, you can't. There's no way.
Well,
dude.
to the average person, crop dusting in itself is a very risky thing to do.
Oh, it is.
It's not regular flying.
No. It's very
Kid
technical
hanging
flying.
out the window.
And so when you have
Yeah, I'm literally hanging out the window, dude. I'll never forget that.
You had all this adrenaline when you were young. Like,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Dang.
Always had motorcycles growing up as a kid.
You're not afraid of anything now, huh?
Well, you know, now being a dad, yeah, I just want to be here as long as I can for my son.
Yeah, that's what we were talking
That's
about
like-
earlier.
Because I ride motorcycles every day, and I still do, you know, like. But yeah, those are like my three things I wanted to do. I either wanted to be a pilot, I wanted to be in special forces, or I was gonna be a musician. Like that was it.
Well, you could still be a pilot too, because you're,
Oh, yeah,
you're a
100%,
musician, and you can do the.
Yeah. And when I was in the I ended up running away from home eventually. So
Like when you were a teenager, or
yeah,
like,
right about 18.
Okay.
Like my dad, the abuse had become so bad that I ran away from home and I joined the army. Like that was my way out. So I got to Puerto Rico, did the ASVAB, stayed in Puerto Rico, and then shipped out from Puerto Rico. And I became a Chinook crew chief. So helicopter, just working on helicopters, which I loved.
Dude, that's
It was
awesome.
a great job, great helicopter.
Like where you're like, did you ever get to see the Apaches up close?
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
that?
dude, they're rad.
Oh,
But the Chinook's way cooler, I'm just saying.
Is it really?
Oh, dude, it's so sick. It's actually the fastest helicopter in the military.
What's it called again?
A Chinook?
Chinook.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
Chinook. Yeah,
It's
I
the
know what
big
it is.
one.
Yeah.
The Marines have a similar version. It's not as big, but it's a CH-47, and they're awesome helicopters. And I can still smell like the JP-8 fuel and like the hydraulic
Oh,
fluid.
yes. Those are so cool.
Yeah, it's super rad, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a great job. See that one right there? We're in the water. What they do is they lower the ramp, and the special forces guys on Zodiac boats come into the helicopter,
Oh,
and then they take off. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You know what this helicopter reminds me of? I don't know what kind of insect it is, but I felt like, because a lot of aviation and aircraft resemble either, any kind of flying creature on this planet.
Yeah.
Like the B-1 or the B-2,
It looks
right?
like a falcon, right? Like
Yes, and
Side
I feel like
profile.
the Chinook, is that what you call it, the Chinook?
Yeah.
Looks like this insect that I remember as a kid, and it had these two like wing sets, like one in the front, one in the back with and I can't remember the name of that insect, but I'm like, I always wondered about that, I don't know the name, but I'll have to look it up. But man, that's awesome.
it's rad. Hey, dude, I'm so stoked. I saw your post a couple times, dude, of you flying, and I think that's the coolest.
I stopped it only to build this studio because this studio took a year and something,
Yeah.
and I was doing it kind of on a one man budget, and it took a while, and so I had to stop for a while. But I was flying in Van Nuys, and then I came to fly over here at Cable, and I think I'm going to finish probably like in Riverside or
cool.
Chino, one of the two, and then hopefully get my license going. But man, that's crazy. So you ran away, you joined the Army, you're already getting the kind of experience in life that I would say 90% of the world does not get.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you feel that contributed to who you are? I mean, obviously it did.
Oh, 100%. But I mean, all of it, like just growing up in Germany and that lifestyle and that culture where I remember growing up, I always had like Russian friends and Turkish friends,
Yeah.
And then in Dominican Republic, obviously Dominican friends, and then Haitian friends, because we share the island with Haiti.
Yep.
And I remember my dad would beat my butt. Can I curse on here? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Okay. My dad would beat my ass because a lot of the workers for rich Dominicans are Haitians, poor Haitians. And they work. They cook, they clean, they maintain, the whole house, the gardens, or their livestock and stuff. And whenever the immigration would come through, I'd always hide all my friends in my house, right? Because we played soccer together. We played baseball together. Yeah. And I never understood, like, even growing up in Germany, I just never got it, why? Like, and And my dad would come home and he'd be like, he'd beat the shit out of me. He'd be like, dude, I could get arrested for this. I was like, they can be deported and like have nothing. Like, so it never made sense to me, but yeah, like I always like would hide them and stuff. And
wow,
they don't really get along too well too, right? The Dominican Republic and Haiti.
Yeah,
it goes back in history of like them feuding all the time over the years.
They're always feuding.
Always.
Yeah. I remember there was, I think it was like in the 90s, there was a whole thing where we sent troops out there to maintain the border or whatever it was. But yeah, just never got it. But like just even that life experience of Dominican Republic and then even the abuse, everything I think I've went through, because with the abuse, it was really bad. Like he would put his gun in my mouth, like all this stuff. Like it was really bad. But all those things, like I would say you can go left or right. You know, I could have turned to drugs. I could have became this because it's a lot to deal with mentally, especially when you're a kid, you know? And I'm glad I chose the path I chose.
How does, I guess, I'm going to ask you directly, like growing up, how does one not feel that anger to your dad for so long? I mean, I guess at some point you got to forgive and, that's like the ultimate goal, but I mean, the anger has to linger for such a long time. I would be, I don't know. I mean,
it does. I mean, it's affected a lot of things. It's affected my relationships.
Right. Right.
How I operate as a person.
Yeah.
And, I'm 42 now and I just had my first child at 41 or 40. Yeah. About 41. And I think it was up until I had my kid that I really could process most of it.
Okay.
And look back on like all these mistakes I made or why I acted a certain way. And it finally made sense. And it was like, for a long time, I was put put the blame towards it, right? Like, oh, I did this because this happened to me and I'm messed up. And I get that. And I understand that, but that's not the reason you did that. The reason you did that is because you allowed it to happen.
Right.
Because everyone has that power to make decisions, and I feel like for me,
for that too, because a lot of people use it as an excuse.
Yeah. I mean, I did for a long time, I made so many excuses on my behavior or my anger issues. And obviously you're going to have those, right? Like, it's a traumatic event. And then join the military doesn't lessen any more trauma.
It makes you more angry. They want you to, they want to break you down a little.
Yeah. You're just piling more stuff on more stuff. And no one really teaches you how to cope with any of it, right?
No.
Especially I didn't really have family. My sister and my mom were in Germany at the time, and this is before we had FaceTime and stuff. And all these cool things that we have now.
When long distance calling itself was
it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And then the time difference,
Right.
So it's I always felt really alone, and I always had my friends were my coping, my help.
Yeah.
But then my friends weren't the best role models either, because we're all young, it's so.
There's no guidebook.
No, there's no guidebook
to help yourself out.
Yeah.
So you're just gravitating towards what feels right at the time.
Yeah.
The cool part about having kids though is that now you get to decide how a family should be the way you want it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And now you will treat your child. You'll be aware and be very gentle.
Yeah.
And because you'll want to treat your baby how you were never treated.
Oh, I have so much patience.
Oh, of course.
Dude, I have so much patience.
Some people go the other way, so that's.
And he likes to test, and I think it's just so funny.
Don't they all?
My wife will get mad at me because he'll do something, and he's like, "You're not going to discipline him," and I'm like, I'll look at him and I'll make this weird little face. He's 2.5 years old, and I'm like.
He's so cute.
He's pretty rad, and he's a great kid. But yeah, and I feel like that it wasn't until I had Halen to where I was like, I just started understanding more of who I was, and I was like, because I have a lot of friends that have gone through therapy and all these things, and the hard thing about therapy is that you, as a patient, you want to tackle this one issue that you think is the main thing, but there's so many underlying things that are going on that you have to you have to chop down the tree from the bottom. You know what I mean?
Start pulling the roots out.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the process takes a while, and a lot of people don't have the patience for it. So, but yeah, I feel like everything that I've been through in life has definitely made me a more positive person.
Right.
In that sense. And I feel like I'm a very positive person all the time. And even when things are just not great, or let's say finances or whatever it is, I'm almost no matter what, because stressing out about something you have no control over does nothing for you, right? And that's a hard thing to practice, man. It is.
Yeah.
But if
Because in a way, like I feel like sometimes I love to stress about it. It just fuels my anger even more sometimes.
yeah,
I like
See?
to, you know, and
But, like,
you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
it's even just with road rage, you know, and it's
oh
like,
man,
I had a very different upbringing than you, but yet sometimes I feel like I just want to get a brick and throw it at somebody's head, you know, when
hey,
I'm
there's
driving.
nothing wrong with that. That's why I don't drive cars often. That's why.
That's smart.
That's why I ride my motorcycle.
That's
'cause I
why
just
he
split
flies
traffic.
planes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Get away from traffic.
Oh, man.
Oh, I'm the same. I feel like I can picture my wife's face the first time we drove in a car and like somebody did something. I was like, you,
Yeah, yeah,
and she's like,
yeah.
like who is this person?
Yeah,
And I was
who
like,
are you right
I was
now?
like, sorry, I didn't tell you this, but I have road rage, which
She's
is
like,
why I
I
ride
can see
motorcycles.
that.
Yeah. But you know, I think to feel emotion, whether it's anger, sadness, that's a great thing because I literally know people that feel nothing, you know, and that to me is scary.
That's very
Right.
scary.
You know, like they don't feel anything, like, and maybe they do, maybe they don't, but they definitely don't convey anything, any emotion. And it's like, man, I don't know how, like, living life being numb, it's brutal. And whenever I see people go through stuff, like when I'm playing a concert, right? The one thing I love about being a musician and being a performer is that no matter how many people are in the crowd, right? And let's say with Zebrahead, we're a huge fan base. I don't know what people are going through. People could be having the worst day of their lives, the worst week, the worst month, whatever the case may be. My job is for that hour and a half, 2 hours that I'm on stage, I want to take away all that, like all that bullshit that they're dealing with, even if it's for those 2 hours, even if that's all I can do. Hopefully they go home still buzzed, still with the energy. But if I can just do that first off performing, that's like my ultimate goal, right? But then when I get off stage, if I can go talk to people, and I love talking to people. Like I spend hours before the show in the line. I'll just hang out in line. Sometimes I'll bring an iPad and
Well,
like,
that's your thing, right? You're like
Yeah.
you're so approachable, and until a mutual friend introduced us, it was like I knew who you were and knew your
Yeah.
name, obviously, but it was like I never seen a guy so of the people more than you, Adrian, and that was just the most unique thing about you, and that's special. That's very special, and I think that what you're doing naturally matters more now in today's world than ever before. That connection that you have.
I feel like people don't have that, or they lost sight of that, or they're too shy or nervous to talk. And like for me, I think my upbringing and everything I went through is why I am the way I am when it comes to people.
Yeah.
Because I remember I had no one to talk to when I had that. I had nothing to look forward to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My guitar on the top of the roof of the house to where my dad couldn't get me. That was what I would look forward to, you know, when I was in my downtime. Or like hearing a record on the rooftop where he couldn't get me.
Yeah.
You know, all these little things. But like, I feel like all those things that I've been through taught me how to try to be a good person. Now, do I stretch myself thin? All the time. You know, overwhelm myself with certain things. And because I want to make everybody happy, you know. Sometimes I got to reel it in. And a couple of my friends, really good friends, have helped me understand that too. It's like, dude, like, it's okay to like not say no, but say no sometimes, you know, or like, or you can't do, I can't do this, or, you know, because I also want to please everybody. But, you know, that was a big thing I had to learn.
I struggle with that a lot.
Because I just want to make everyone happy. But like, is it at the expense of my own happiness sometimes? Yeah, maybe. But, you know, I have to take a step back sometimes. But like, yeah, I'll grab an iPad, and if there's people in the line like hours before the show and there's like 2 or 3 people, I'll sit there with an iPad, we'll watch a movie. You know?
Cool.
We're like, hey, what's up? You guys want to watch a movie? They're like, yeah. Sometimes. And Zebrahead's been around for so long. And I used to do this with my other band, Assuming We Survive too, as well. But with Zebrahead, like I am the newest member of Zebrahead, right? Yeah. And it's a band I grew up loving as a kid. And some fans still don't know that they have a new singer sometimes, you know? The random ones that just don't go on the internet.
Young.
Yeah. They're like, man, you don't age a bit. I'm like, what? Like,
well, to close out this section of it, I wanted to ask the question to you. As you've become a dad now, has your feeling changed towards your dad looking back now at this age and this time in your life, or has there been kind of like a sense of understanding or forgiveness looking back, or just something like you see things a little bit different? You said that, but I mean, how has that changed for your view of your dad? I guess,
to be brutally honest, yeah, it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
The things that I went through,
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine like putting my kid through that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like there was a time I was trying to forgive him, and I remember I still know my phone number by heart from Dominican Republic.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
That's cool.
And I would call that number, and he'd pick up the phone, and I'd hang up. You know, because I wanted, man, man, like I was such a dad. Well, I'm a mama's boy too, but I loved my dad. You know, my dad was my role model. He flew airplanes. He was in the army. I loved music, and like it was everything. And it wasn't until my parents divorced that he became this person. When we moved to Dominican Republic, he started drinking heavily, and you know, it's like I had sympathy with certain things with him. Like, you know, he got a divorce. Now he's in Dominican Republic. Now he's dating again. Now he's experienced heartbreak, but at an older age.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
it's not that I didn't have empathy, you know, or that I didn't understand, but that does not. It doesn't outweigh the things that he did.
Yeah. How was
You
that
know?
your fault that he was going through?
Yeah,
all that
I was
stuff?
supposed to be his battle buddy through it. Man, if you're hurting, like I'm there with you. You're my dad. I'm your son.
Yeah.
You know, there was literally like a month. I would come home and he'd be drunk and he'd be sitting on the couch with the gun in his hand. He's like, "I'm gonna kill myself, Adrian. I'm gonna kill myself." And I didn't know what to do as a kid. I would go to my room, close the door, and I couldn't sleep. I just expected to hear a gunshot. And then how do I, as a kid, walk out of my room to see my dad like that? You know, it was, every night was like that. And then it turned from him hurting himself to now him hurting me. And then it just went beyond that. So, man, there was a time, you know, I would call and he'd answer and I'd click. And then one time he answered and I answered. And I was like, "Dad." And you know, he was angry and that triggered me right away. I was like, "Oh, he's angry. Like I should hang up." And I brought up everything he did to me. He did not want to acknowledge a single thing. He's like, No, that's not true. You're not. I was like, "Dude, I'm telling you, you might have been drunk. You might have erased it out of your memory. I don't know. But like you did these things." And then he finally started to admit some of them. And I was like, so it's like, okay, we're making some progress here. And then I remember I hadn't talked to him in like a couple of weeks. I was on tour, and so I hadn't talked to him in a little bit. Or was I on tour? I can't remember. I just hadn't talked to him in like a couple of weeks. And I remember I called him, and he just went off. Like, and that was it. I was like,
Oh yeah.
I have no more energy to even try with this person. And it's sad because like, you know, I feel like, you know, there's so like, I was fortunate to have a dad. Some people don't even have their dads, you know, or their dads pass
Right.
away. And that's like, gotta be brutal especially when you have a good relationship.
But you did try though. You did.
Yeah, I did try.
You
Yeah,
did
that's
try.
all
And that's why I
could
don't
do.
feel bad about it. It's like, man, I tried,
Yeah.
despite everything that I'd gone through. I
Absolutely,
tried, you know,
right.
and now my priority, like I can't put energy into something like that when
Right.
all my energy should go into my family now.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
So
So you talk about empathy now, and you're like, all right. So with all this absolutely crazy experience of life growing up, there's people at the club, there's people, you know, at your concerts who I'm sure can relate to you in some way, you know, and I feel like you can kind of communicate and be there for other people at your shows and as an artist, a celebrity that people look up to.
Yeah.
And that's got to be a pretty cool thing because, you know, like me, I can't, you know, do to that, you know, this kid, but maybe you can, you know, you know, and that's a pretty cool thing.
it is. It's really rewarding, and it's not even just kids, man. Like I literally, especially Zebrahead's fan base is so diverse. There's kids because it's generational now. So like those
Right.
punk rock dads that were, you know, punk rock kids back then when Zebrahead was coming up. Now they're punk rock parents, you know, and they bring their kids and their kids know, and like their kids show their friends at school Zebrahead, and so it's generational, you know. And I mean, I've talked to older people, 60-year-olds that are having or have gone through stuff, and I console. You know, I give them my experience, and that's the thing. Everyone's experience is different. Everybody's trauma is different. Doesn't mean it's worse or better. You know what I mean? Like it's how you perceive what you're going through. I could only help with my experience of how I got through it or what I went through. But it's everyone. Sometimes it's kids that are going through stuff. You know,
You know, it's when I was growing up, I never reached my trauma period in my life until my 30s.
yeah. Sometimes
Very late.
yeah.
And when I was growing up, I always thought, you know, the kids who went through a lot, I'm like, they were so cool and they had this edge, and I'm like, why am I not like them? You know, it's like they got this grit about them, and they got this, and I didn't even know what the word grit was at the time, but you know what I'm saying. And I'm like, why am I different from I want to be like them, and I want to be like them, and I never understood that because my childhood was so blasé. It was like blah. It's like I just but after going through that trauma, my goodness, it changes.
It changes you. Yeah.
It absolutely does. But whether you did it when you're young or in your
older.
30s,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't say, but I think the impact is still pretty impactful to some extent. But there's this coworker of mine. Her name is Christina, and
Shout out Christina.
yeah, and she goes, "Oh my God, you know Adrian?" And I'm like, well, yeah, he works at Goodfellas. He does some sets over there. And she's like, no, really? And I think there's people that are huge fans of you today that don't even know you work at Goodfellas right now, and they live.
I didn't know that until I saw your video, and
Yeah.
and I've been going to Goodfellas my whole life.
So she loves Zebrahead. I think she has this like assuming we survive thing on her desk.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
So
That's cool.
This is what I thought of, and I said, okay, let's flip the script now. I thought of, okay, assuming we survive and Zebrahead. Those are some really badass names for bands, and I thought, okay, so that reminds me. I made my top 5 list of the top 5 craziest or coolest or clever band names that have ever existed. And I wanted to compare that with you because obviously, assuming we survive in Zebrahead, so Michelle and I, we both did a top 5 list.
Okay.
I know. I don't know
wanna-
if they're necessarily the best, but they're clever, so I liked them. But they're in my phone. I don't know if I have them all memorized. I have a few of them memorized. All right. You're gonna give yours too?
Yeah, you want to go first? Or
Okay.
you want me to go first? You go first.
Ones I love just because I think they're clever. Grateful Dead, Quiet Riot,
That's a great one too.
A Tribe Called Quest,
I love that band.
Ben Harper and the Innocent Criminals, and Guns N' Roses, of course. I love that band name. But those are mine.
When you think of like Guns N' Roses or like, those, they're so like household names now, but you
Yeah.
forget how clever they are. We were just talking about that.
Guns N'
so
Roses.
here's my top 5. All right, here we go. And again, these are bands, I'm not really fans of. I mean, some of them I am, some of them are not, but here we go. These are just names. Thievery Corporation.
Thievery Corporation. That's a good one.
Joy Division.
Joy Division. That's a good band too.
Arcade Fire.
Arcade. Like that
I
band,
love
too.
that name.
Yeah.
Cigarettes After Sex.
That's a solid.
And I forgot my 5th one. Who was my 5th one?
I
mean, I have a list right here.
Yeah, you wrote it.
Oh, of course. The Velvet Underground. How could
Velvet
I forget?
Underground.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Those are all really good names.
And then there's Assuming We Survive and Zebrahead.
Yeah, I
And-
love those.
Dude, okay, so what is it like to have gone all over? You grew up all over the world, and then you find a career in this world where you still go all over the world, and so you've created a local name, so you're kind of global, but you're very much local. You're very global, you're very local, but you're been able to combine the two. What is it like to come back home after a tour and be here and work at Goodfellas and interact with the people here and go back again?
It's chaotic in the sense of like you're out there, you're on tour, and tour life is crazy. Zebrahead, just like I'm telling you, it's just a fun band. We have a bar on stage, like literally a bar on stage every night, every show, and we have a bunch of our friends that are on tour with us. And shout out to my boy John. He's an airline pilot. I won't say for what airline, but he literally takes time off of work and he'll just come out on tour with us, and he's our bartender basically. And
That's awesome.
so it's just a chaotic life, right? Like you're in a different city every night. You're driving, you're on the bus, and you're driving from Germany to Poland or France, wherever, right?
Yeah,
and every night's just insane. And then the last 3 days before tour is over with, my brain starts to shut down because I know that I'm going home.
Oh,
It starts to unwind from all the chaos. And I get home, and this happened a lot of times. Sometimes I land at LAX and I go straight from LAX to Goodfellas because I have to DJ. I don't have to DJ there, but like I like to work. I like to stay busy. But it's cool. Goodfellas is such a home vibe. Like I've known so many people there for so long. Everyone's great. And it's nice for me to have some off time because if I didn't have anything while I'm home, I'd literally probably lose my mind.
Yeah.
I have to do something. And I was like, okay, what do I do? And one of my friends at Goodfellas that works there, they're like, why don't you start DJing here on certain nights? I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm the worst DJ, by the way. I don't use a freaking DJ board. Like
People like you so much.
I'm a
though.
Spotify DJ. Okay. So
whatever works.
I just add on the cue, and then like I'll like sing some songs sometimes because I have a problem with, because I just want to sing. But no, it's been cool, and the amount of people that I've met, the amount of friends I've made by doing that is just awesome.
You've
And so-
changed Goodfellas. You have, because Goodfellas was always the hole in the wall go-to spot, and I was always like on the fence about it. I'm like, but ever since you started doing your thing there, and it became a real home base.
Yeah.
First it was a hole in the wall. Now it's a home base.
Yeah.
Now it's a comfort. Now it's comfort food. Now it's
That's a
I
good
feel
way to point it.
safe,
Comfort food.
you know, and
it is my safe place in a lot of senses too. Because like, my wife will tell you like we can be anywhere and there's somebody. Like, dude.
yeah.
Yep.
Now one of my really good friends, shout out Jason. But I remember Zebrahead. We had played a show. I think it was with MXPX at the House of Blues, and I think it was like the next day I was in Ralph's, and I don't think I was at my Ralph's that I normally go to. I was just in a different Ralph's, and maybe Stater Brothers, whatever it was. And I'm in line, and this dude's just like looking at me. He's talking to his wife, looking at me. And I'm like, oh man, it's coming, it's coming. And I was like, I knew it. I was like, what's up, dude? He's like, Zebrahead. That's all he said. Like he was like, Zebrahead.
And you're like, yes.
I was like, what? He's like, aren't you just sing a Zebrahead? I was like, yeah, man. We were at the show last night. It was great. I was like, oh, that's so awesome, man. Like, thank you. He's like, do you mind if we take a picture? I was like, not at all, dude. I never mind. I never mind that stuff. But then I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, he's probably going to correct me on this, but we were at Costco and same thing. Like you see him trailing. I'm like,
are you following me?
yeah, I think I said that. I was like, dude, are you following me? You stalking me right now? We're great friends now. Like we became really great friends. And his wife's Cuban. And so we always like, we're always about like Dominican, Cuban, Caribbean food and stuff. But I love Jason and Jesse. They're great. But it happens all the time. But like at my bar, I think like a lot of people know what I do.
Yeah.
You know? But they don't approach me that way. They treat me like a normal person. And I love that because it is really weird. Like I feel like that's why when I'm playing a show with Zebrahead, like I hang out in the crowd.
Yeah.
Or I'll go to the bar and I'll literally buy random people shots. They'll be like, hey man, want a shot? Or I'll get shots and I'll just go up to people. I'm like, here, these are for you. And then I'll walk off, right? Like I won't even say anything. I'll just give them shots and walk off or whatever. I think for me, it's like always like I'm not really a green room type person, where I'm like in the green room the whole night. I mean, I do need to take a mental break.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets overwhelming, but like, I don't mind it. But like, for me, it's like really cool to have Goodfellas where it's like my big old green room that's filled with people that don't care what I do.
It's like an extended living room of yours.
100%.
Everyone has
and it's like, everyone just treats me like, oh, he's just that. And it's like a lot of times like, oh, he's just a DJ. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool with me, dude.
It's just divey, comfort, it's home.
And when I met Adrian, it was through our mutual friend, and I texted him that night, and I said, "Dude, Adrian's really freaking cool." And he goes, "Bro, he's a great guy,
Steve,
great dude."
Steve Wilson,
Tony.
Oh, Tony, yeah, love Tony, dude.
Yeah. And so, I was like, man, I really like this guy, genuinely do, and it's not too often I go to like to a bar or club, and I say, hey. It's a cool person. I actually like that person. It's stuck in my mind. And you've been there a while, but you just joined Zebrahead. Was it 2020 or 21? Or
yeah, it was right around that time. Yeah, I know it was COVID era. It was COVID had. It was right before the lockdown, basically. Maybe the lockdown already happened. My guitarist, Dan Palmer, he's also the guitarist for Death by Stereo. But him and I have been best buds for so long. Do you remember Friar Tuck's?
That sounds so familiar.
It looked like a castle off of Foothill Boulevard.
Yes,
up here.
Yes.
He used to bartend there, and dude, that place. Side note, like when Assuming Survivor was coming up in the local scene, there were so many places to play for bands.
Okay.
Nowadays, I feel like there's nowhere for bands to play. Like there's really not, But he was one of the bartenders there, and I remember the manager of the bar, Sammy, would always yell at Dan because like after hours, Dan would just always give me shots and like for free, and he'd be like, are you giving Adrian shots for free? And Dan's like, yeah. Of course. But like, so I get this call, and at the time I was, it's COVID. So Assuming Survive had just got off of a full US tour. It was just us and Sum 41. And then right after that, we did a tour with a band called The Classic Crime, which is a great band.
It's a great name.
And we were about to have a couple more tours, and all our tours got canceled. right? Like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
everything
Yeah,
canceled.
everything
And we're like,
out of stuff.
dang, like, okay. So I was like, well, since we might have some downtime, I was just assuming it's going to be like a month or two or like
Yeah.
summertime or something.
Yeah.
I
So
did
did
not
I.
expect it to be as long as it was.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, maybe I'll start this like little punk rock project where I get like Dan Palmer, because he's an amazing guitarist. I get Mike Cambra, which is an amazing drummer. I get my boy Neil from the Bomb Pops. And we make this like little punk rock super group. And so I had reached out to all the guys and everyone was like down for it. I hadn't really heard anything in a couple weeks, and I also wasn't pushing it.
Yeah.
And I was doing my own thing, whatever that was at the time. And out of the blue, I get this call from Dan Palmer, and he's like, "Hey, man." I was like, "What's up, dude?" He's like, "Hey, you want to get some food at Hooters and catch up?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." Like, Assuming You Survive is recording a new EP at the time, which we literally have it ready to release. I just need to release it. We've had it now for like a year and a half or whatever it's been. But so the studio was like right there off of Catella anyways. So there's that Hooters right off of Catella, right? Near downtown Disney. So I meet him and we're just catching up on life and we're eating fried pickles, taking some shots of Jameson. And on the last shot, we cheers. He's like, as I go to, take the shot, he's like, "Oh, by the way, you're the new singer Zebrahead." I was like, "What?"
He's
like,
choking on the shot.
"Yeah." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you're the guy." I was like, he's like, "Are you down?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm down."
Dude,
So I think it was like the next day or 2 days later, we all met up at our bass player Ben's house and we wrote the first day we got together.
Wow.
Which is cool to do that. But yeah,
So
it's
it
pretty
just came
wild.
together just like that.
Just they didn't look for anybody
it
else.
was not like an audition.
they already
No.
had you in mind. It was like, we want this.
Yeah, that was like I was honored. And at that time I was playing with Assuming You Survive and I was playing guitar for the band Mest, which is another band that I grew up loving as a kid. So kind of like
Messed?
yeah. They're a Chicago-based pop punk band, but it was a band that was like I knew how to play every song as a kid.
Awesome.
Like,
awesome. Yeah.
and now the singer is my son's godfather, one of my best friends.
Awesome.
So I mean, I've kind of had this weird luck where like I've gotten into these bands that I grew up loving as a kid.
Yeah.
It's freaking wild. But yeah, it's a crazy experience because.
But isn't it kind of
no
like
idea.
who you are though? And because I feel like, okay, you could have all the talent in the world, but if the band doesn't vibe with you personally, or they don't like you, or like you're odd or weird or something.
Yeah, it doesn't work sometimes.
Yeah. And I feel like, your personality of who you are, or who you've become, it's like, so like, dude, why would we not want him? Why would we grab him before somebody else does, And how many tours have you gone on with Zebrahead?
Oh, with Zebrahead, a lot, man. Dude, we hit the ground running. I remember my first 2 shows with Zebrahead. We didn't get a warm-up show. Well, I didn't get a warm-up show.
Yeah. Right in the fire.
Right in the fire. 2 sold-out Slam Dunk Festival shows in England. And Slam Dunk is a great, great, great festival. Like, one of my favorite festivals to play. And actually, Zebrahead, I think, has played Slam Dunk more than any other band around. It's a great festival. It's a 2 days, 2 different cities in England. We're playing it this year as well, but they added
What cities in England?
Leeds and Hatfield.
Wow. Okay. So like a little bit more up north.
Yeah, and it's rad. We're playing both England dates this year. We're playing Slam Dunk, which they just started doing more of, not just England. I think 2 years ago we did Italy and France Slam Dunk. This year we're doing Italy, France, Belgium, Netherlands. Yeah, I might be missing one more date for the Slam Dunk Festival itself. Like they broadened their festival, but it's a really cool festival. But yeah, first 2 shows, man, sold out Slam Dunk.
Yeah.
And Zebrahead has such a great fan base and such a hardcore fan base. I was like, oh man, I hope they like me. They're gonna hate me, whatever it is. But I was like, I remember, I was a little bit nervous the first day before we went on, but I just remember, and we had never played together live. Like movements on stage. It's a big thing. Like how a band interacts. I mean, a band that's been together for a while knows what the bass player is going to move on this song. He'll probably take a step back without thinking. You just,
Because you guys have formed that chemistry already.
Yeah. And the first show we had it, like we didn't even try.
Dude.
Like I would move this way, that person moved that way. Like it just kind of worked and very organically. And
it's almost like you go on a date or like you find that woman in your life,
And you
and it just flows and it's like a dance.
No more awkwardness right away. It's gone.
And it's so nerve wracking. I was like, don't fuck this up, dude. Don't fuck this up. And I think I did mess up some lyrics. Like I said, the wrong lyrics on a part, but whatever, man. Like
everybody was cheering so loud.
Yeah, they didn't care. And if they did catch it, they still didn't care. But no, it's been a cool experience. I've done, man, we tour a lot. Like I think last year or the year before, we were almost into like 8 months.
That sounds
something
like
that.
so much fun.
Can you like let's dumb this down for just the most average person out there, right?
Okay.
What is that feeling like on like I'll share my experience. Obviously, you're the one who's the most experienced in this room, but going on stage, getting that adrenaline, getting those cheers, those people singing back to you, giving you the energy back, and then walking off stage and having that glow for the rest of the night. Kind of walk me through, what does that feel like? What is that feeling like, if you can kind of translate that?
You know, it's fun. I do it often when I get off stage, and I'll get on my phone and I'll do a story on my Instagram. I'm like, it's the best feeling in the world for me as a kid. That's all I've ever wanted to do.
Yeah,
you know, and that energy and that love, like, dude, it's overwhelming sometimes. Like, it makes me emotional, like completely emotional. Cause it's just so overwhelming that people just give a fuck like that much.
Yeah,
they're just that happy. And it's like that energy is so electric and it's so reciprocal. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh my God.
Very physical.
And sometimes I get off stage, I'm like, let's fucking go back on.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll still
we're
hide.
gonna play the same fucking
Next
set.
time.
We're gonna play the same songs, right? Let's fucking do this.
Or let's find another stage somewhere
You know,
else. And
I'm like,
let's just keep going.
I'm not ready to lose this high, you know? Like, and that's the thing too, is like, I'm not saying that there's a negative towards it. I mean, I just don't want to be biased or whatever it is. I don't really do drugs, right? Like, it's never been my thing. Smoked weed, done some shrooms, it's cool. But never did anything. Like, and I don't know if I'd want to be like that and not really just be able to fucking take it in. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen a couple of my really good friends and they're awesome. And they get fucked up.
Yeah.
But
Super high on stage.
even that in itself is a lot for somebody to take in, because all that electricity, I mean, it really is electricity that's flowing through your body, and it radiates outside of your skin. Yeah. And when you walk by people, it's so strong.
They can feel it.
They can feel it as well.
It's
exactly.
true.
It's just a different energy. And I always like say, there's a lot of people that are going through some stuff, and if they haven't gone to a concert in a long time, go see your fucking favorite band.
Yep.
Go to a show, go
It
see your
helps
favorite band.
every time.
It could have been years. You may have never even gone to a concert. Go to anyone. Just go see your favorite artist. Just do it. Like that experience, or go to a rave. Like whatever it is, just go be in that moment, surrounded by other people that have the same thing in common. That energy is insane. Like it's a great experience. Man, you know.
I was watching you at Goodfellas 2 weeks ago. Was it a week ago? A week ago.
Something like that. Yeah.
And dude, you have so much energy, and some people just try to overdo it. Yeah. I think this is naturally you, and you went from the stage to the crowd, and I'm all the way in the back, just hanging out with Tony. Yeah. And I'm just sitting there watching, and not even 10 seconds in, I'm like, I became part of everybody else immediately, just like that. That was fun. That was
really cool.
Michelle, you have to come to one of these nights.
Go.
Yeah, anytime. Just let me know if there's a show. That was another thing of me, you know, trying to fit 20 pounds in a 2-pound bag. You know, I have all this stuff with Zebrahead. We're writing a new album, dad life, husband life,
right?
Goodfellas DJ, you know, like, and what does Adrian do? Because he doesn't have enough stuff to do. Right. I started emo night cover band, right? Like with my friends. I was like, well, you know, it's part of the chaos of it all. I just want to perform or be busy. Yeah. So we started this like emo cover band, and that was our first show that we'd ever done together, you know, and that was really cool. You know, I think I could say for sure, because we did 2 different sets. That first set, I was super nervous. Because like when you're singing, just like Zebrahead, like where I'm singing like older stuff, man, I want to do it right.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to sound like the previous singer, but I want to hit the notes. I want to make sure it's correct. You know, and when you're singing, there's something about covering other people's songs where you can't mess it up. No. And I was like, oh, dude, don't forget the lyrics, which I did forget some lyrics, but it's usually once I hit the stage and it's like, the noise starts, man. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah. We're good.
Well, I relate to you in the sense that I have to stay busy all the time because, you know, my whole life, ever since I was young, I've been doing music, DJing and radio and, you know, since I was very young. And I worked, you know, in LA, and I started here in San Bernardino, Riverside, went to LA and held down many jobs at one time, you know, and I would spin 16 plates at one time, you know, and sometimes not by choice because I had to, but then I went to Dallas, and then abruptly everything ended for me, you know, And that's a story for another night. But I'm Adrian. I'll tell you anytime. But and Michelle knows. But when I came back and I had nothing to do, I don't know if it was the bigger pain of having lost my entire career that I built my entire identity and my DNA, my blood on, or the fact that I had nothing to do. I couldn't tell what was worse.
Yeah.
But man, and so I damn well went almost crazy, almost borderline. It wasn't until I started planning the studio out and starting to build it, brick by brick. And then, when I saw it come alive, it was like I could breathe again.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh, and that's how I feel now. And I just wanted to share that because I can relate in that sense,
I think it's, and commend you on that too, man. Like, this is awesome.
Thank you.
Like any way that, and I saw a couple of your interviews that you've had.
Oh, thank you.
And this is a grad setup. It looks great. Like,
You think so? Thank you.
Are you kidding me? I showed my guys in Zebrahead.
You did?
Dan,
Oh,
he was like,
cool,
that looks sick. And the audio sounds great. Like, so
Thank
you've
you,
done
thank you,
really,
thank
really
you.
well. And like, I just wish you nothing but the best. And
Thank you, bro.
if there's anyone you could think of that I might know that you want to get in here, I'll definitely spread the word on that too.
Dude, awesome.
And keep that ball moving. But
Well, Adrian, I wanted to ask you, because you're local, I would love to have you back,
of course.
This is like, an open door to you. It's not, not even, hey, I'm gonna come by real quick, tell you about the new song or whatever. Be like, okay, let's go. It's not even about whatever.
Yeah.
Give me the gratification, or how does it feel to be, you're a global star, but you're also a
that's
star.
so weird to me, by the way.
Local.
Why are you saying it like that?
Well, okay.
No,
When you come back,
but you are. Yeah.
But when you come back home, though, it's not like you favor one or the other.
Yeah.
You treat, from what I can see, you treat both very equally, and that means a lot to people here home. How does that feel for you? How do you balance that?
I think just by being honest,
Yeah.
like obviously when I'm on tour and all that stuff, very professional. That is the job, right? And it only takes one person to mess it up for everyone. That's just how that is, in whatever it is, right? Like, so I think handling that very professional. I think Zebrahead's a very professional band when it comes to a lot of things, man. Like, just it's a great organization. It's a great band to be a part of. And then being the same thing when you come home, it's like, being very professional and whatever it is you're doing and taking things seriously and just being honest with yourself too. There's times where I'm burnt out and I tell my friends, I can't DJ tonight. I'm just so burnt out. Like, okay, well, that's being honest. Maybe I need to take that night off, take a break, not force myself to do something that I know is going to burn me out even more. It's really hard right now because like Zebrahead's schedule is Tuesday, Thursday that we rehearse. I DJ Monday nights, Wednesday nights. That hangover sometimes
Yeah.
when I have to be at rehearsal is, and that's so bad on me because you don't have to drink, Adrian. And I know. The problem a lot of times is too that when I'm at Goodfellas, there was a long stretch at Goodfellas where I was like the Oprah of shots. I would literally buy.
You get a shot. You get a shot. You get a
My
shot.
bar tab would be like $300+, and that's with the employee discount. Like,
Yeah.
So, and then I would always tip 100% on that. I remember my wife the first time she was my girlfriend at the time was like, "Hey babe, can you go close out my bar tab?" And she's like, "How much do you want me to tip?" I was like, 100%. And she comes back, she's like,
Wait, what?
"Your tab was like $200 something." I was like, "Okay, did you tip?" Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was like, "Oh my god." That was bad. That was the worst financial decision. Like, dude, I could have bought another motorcycle or something.
Okay, but let's be honest. These aren't LA prices, and thankfully
they're
they
not.
are not.
Yeah, they're so reasonable.
That's why
there.
I love Goodfellas too. Even without an employee discount, like the prices are so reasonable. Like,
I can get a beer for back in the day prices, not like $18 for one beer.
And that's the thing. Okay, so in LA, the nightlife has taken a hit.
Yeah.
It's taken a hit in Hollywood, especially. I don't know the exact reason. I know because of COVID, things really never went back to the same.
Yeah.
Close to maybe in some aspects, but I don't know anyone who's happy paying $20 for a drink.
It's awful.
For a Jack and Coke.
I'm going to give everyone here a financial investment advice. Okay. Young, old, whatever. Try to own a parking lot in LA if you can.
Oh, yeah.
Or own a towing truck company.
Oh, yeah.
I got my truck towed. Well, my wife got our truck towed. Shout out, baby. I love you. From our apartment complex. Because we have our assigned parking and you can't park in visitors past a certain. It's stupid,
Yep.
right? Like it's visitors parking; they should be able to park there overnight, whatever. But she forgot to move the truck, so I was like, "Babe, did you move the truck?" She's like, "No." So I went out there at 2:30 in the morning. I'd gotten home from Goodfellas, I think, and I went to go move the truck. Truck's not there. $700 later.
700
For $700 to have them tow it 2 miles away and then release it to us 2 miles away.
Yep.
The biggest, oh my God. But if anyone could afford to start that stuff, because that is ridiculous, dude. Like, and then LA parking, dude, what is it? Like $25? Like $20 is like the
on the
least.
cheap end. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's on the cheap
100%
end,
on the
25.
cheaper end. I'm like, dude, what the heck? And that's just parking. That's just a park.
Yeah.
Come to Goodfellas in Rancho, Cucamonga, California.
Parking is free.
There's a taco guy. There's a Hawaiian barbecue. Well, we're set.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
And then I'll be there on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays.
What is Goodfellas on Monday nights like? I haven't been out.
It's fun. It's hit or miss, right? Like it's a Monday night, but we definitely have like our regulars, and it's Mondays for me is really fun because I get to like Saturday night's more like the club night, so I have to kind of like make it dancey vibes and stuff like that, which is totally cool. My Mondays and Wednesdays, it's kind of like I get to do whatever I want. So like I'll slip in some emo stuff or some metal every now and then, or some merengue, salsa, whatever, So it's more like everything,
cool.
And there's not quite like such a genre.
I'm gonna make Wednesday nights like my home base.
Dude, roll through anytime, man.
I'm gonna have to try to go.
Yeah, come down.
Adrian, on a side note, just got a guy talking. Like, dude, I used to go out all the time and party. I mean, my apartment in Los Feliz was like a revolving door.
That was
it
the bachelor pad right there.
It was. We'll talk about that another day. But my life has changed so drastically, and I think It's not that I've grown up and I don't like that stuff anymore. I
Yeah.
still love that stuff just as much. It's just our
Different priorities.
Lives changed. Priorities have changed. But man, I miss it. I need it.
Anytime you want, man. Just anytime. I like. Yeah, that's the thing, and that bar is just like that. Everyone. That thing is like sometimes I go there with the 100% intent to not drink because I do have a writing session, and trying to write a song when you're kind of foggy is just not the way to do it.
Right.
We get it done when those things happen, but I go there with the intent to not drink, and then a buddy of mine like Tony, bro, here's your shot. I'm like,
I can see that happening.
It's
My
like-
friend gave it to me.
it's like Pringles. You
not
can't just
take
have
it.
one, So it's like you get a shot, and then they're like, oh, dude, he bought the DJ a shot. Oh, let's get him a drink. And everybody knows what I drink. I drink there. Like
What is your drink there?
dude, Rebel vodka with a splash of cranberry. And that is so
Yes,
that is so freaking unhealthy.
it is.
Yeah.
You go to
Can't
Goodfellas.
get away.
It is such a fun environment. And so, but you've been working a lot, like you said. You've been staying busy. You've been doing the club. You've been doing the music. You've been doing you're everywhere right now. And then you guys have new music coming out, which you guys are working on right now, right?
Yeah.
What is, I don't want to ask the expectation, but what's the plan? So you guys are going to be going on tour soon?
Yeah. So actually, I leave May 22nd, the 24th. So we land in England, grab our gear, and then the first two shows are in England. That's Slam Dunk. And then we go over to Europe, do the rest of the Slam Dunks. But then we have, I've had a lot of bucket list things. I mean, like I said, growing up in Dominican Republic, MTV late night, finding out about Warped Tour. Never thought I'd go to one, let alone play like 6 or 7, however many I've played now. Same thing is like Wacken Festival in Germany, which is like the biggest metal festival there is. 85,000 people. Got to play it last year.
Jeez.
Insane, like feeling to be on that stage. And then this year, I always wanted to play Rock 'em Ring and Rock 'em Park. It's
Yeah.
And we're playing it this year too. So
Are you guys really?
yeah, we're playing those. And
No kidding.
so we're pretty busy. I think I'm going to be gone from the 22nd of May until August 10th or 15th or something like that. I do fly home, I think twice or 3 times for like 8 days at a time. And then I go back out, and then 6 days go back out.
Balance that home life and
That
life. And
that part's
tour.
even harder because like when you're home, it's like, oh, dude, when I'm on tour, I miss my family so much.
Yeah.
And it's like being home for 10 days, is like I'm only home for 10 days, and I got to go back out.
Yeah.
It makes it hard. I will say, like, before Halen was born, I didn't have a problem touring. And not that I do now. It's just harder,
Yeah.
because like, especially the time difference is so drastic. Like, I'm going to bed, they're waking up. They're waking up, I'm going to bed. And so phone calls are short, and then we
Yeah,
try to
that's like
we try to
just
make
1
it work.
hour where you guys are overlapping, where it's not too late or early
Yeah.
for someone to make that phone.
But then like you go to Japan, and then it's like you're like an entire day ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I remember my first time flying home from Japan. Well, we were in New Caledonia, which is past Australia, past New Zealand, this little French Polynesian island in the middle of the ocean, like right on the equator. Gorgeous, gorgeous island. And we had one stop in Tokyo. I saw I think it's like 3 sunsets and 2 sunrises in one flight. Like
whoa.
or whatever it was. It was like just I was like, what the heck is going on? And it's like you're going back in time.
Like your
you know
mind
what I
is
mean?
playing
Like,
tricks on you.
Yeah.
you're like, wait a minute, we're going back in time. Yesterday already happened. Why am I now in yesterday? Like,
Yeah.
what is,
Yeah.
you know, it's weird. But yeah, being able to play all these cool festivals this summer, I'm like super stoked about it. We got a couple headlining shows, and we're adding more shows. So it's like, it's going to be a busy summer.
Do you guys
you know.
write your songs together? Like, how does that work?
Well, let me see. Sometimes I'll have a guitar riff idea in my head. Like a couple of days ago, this Ed Sheeran just released a song called, I think it's like Azia, or it's like a Persian word. And I had texted the boys, I was like, bro, Ed Sheeran just released a 2-minute song. Because if you look at music now, because the whole TikTok algorithms and stuff, songs are becoming shorter and shorter because
We talked about that
attention
once.
spans
Yeah.
are so short now, right? And I'm like, 2-minute song, man, like that would never, like, you know, Bohemian Rhapsody now would never.
Yeah.
I mean, it was hard enough back then when it came out. They're like, 10-minute song, you're out of your mind. And
Yeah.
like now it's like, bro,
But that's what's so
I'm not going to
important
sit
about
and
going to
listen to
a show
anything.
too, though, because
Yeah.
they hear the song 2 minutes on TikTok, but they need to hear it live.
Yeah.
And then
That's a whole thing.
Yep.
it's a different animal. It really is. And if they get more live music, and
Yeah.
it's just
I'm telling you, go to a show. Just go to a
Nothing
show.
like
Go to a
that.
rave, go to a show. Just go experience it all. But yeah, so I'd sent the group chat. I was like, dude, Ed Sheeran just 2-minute song, man. Like, I was like, we need to write like a party song. Because Zebrahead's pretty much a part. We are a party band. With me being in the band, I think we've gotten a lot more serious in a sense, and not because we wanted to. I think it's just the timing too, like COVID, like going through that, like the mental health that happened during COVID. Because I feel like everyone thought it was only going to be a little bit of time,
Yeah.
and it ended up being,
Right.
you know, as long as it was. And people, you know, everyone knows someone that passed away from COVID and all these things. So I think the band is more, I want to say serious when it like the songs are more serious, but they are in a sense, you know, and it's just kind of how I write it too. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't want to write a song about being in high school. I haven't been in high school
Yeah.
in like forever.
Yeah.
And even
Right.
if I did write a song about being in high school, only Dominicans would understand what I'm talking about. Because like,
This is El Güero on the mic.
like Dominican high school is so different. Like in Dominican Republic, you don't change your classroom. You have the same classroom the whole day. Your teachers change, and like
Oh, okay.
it's a whole vibe. And but so I was like, dude, I don't think we really have like a party song yet.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, let's write a 2-minute party song. And I didn't have an idea of what we were gonna do, like at all. And I kept on singing this one line, and like my bass player was like, dude, let's record that. And then we just built the whole song right then and there, you know? Or sometimes Dan, my guitarist, will have this guitar riff. Usually what we do is we just get in the room and he'll hit record, and either Dan or myself, like we'll just start playing the guitar and coming up with a riff, and then we'll just start building off of that. We're like, oh, that part's really interesting. All right, let's, you know, not worry about all that other stuff. Like, okay, this part's really cool. How do we make whatever's around it cool? And then we just create the song off of that. And
That's a lot
yeah,
of
it works, but-
creativity in one
Yeah.
room. Wow.
well, yeah, it's cool. Like that everyone has so much input, because it's, man, writing songs with a band sometimes is a really hard thing to do.
People don't think about this. To be stuck with the same adults day after day, like I in my head, like I want to go and take a nice little 30-minute just by myself and not have to worry about noise or nothing for a while. If I ever go on vacation, I think that. I think about that. You know, everyone's like, "Oh, we're gonna have fun no matter what." I'm like, "No, hold on.
Yeah.
Let's put ourselves in that situation."
I'm gonna
first.
need my timeouts from
Yeah.
from
I
stuff.
don't want the agenda 8 and 9 and
Right.
10 and 11 and 12. I'm like, I'm on vacation.
and then
I
having
need-
to get along. And I know when you click with people, that's a blessing. But even time, you know, everybody changes and evolves, and it's like it does take work to stay, to keep the relationships flowing.
Yeah.
That takes work.
I mean, any relationship takes work.
Yes.
And they're easily given up on if you don't put the work in. And then, but yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the one thing with Zebrahead too is like when we're on tour, obviously I hate saying this because this is the most pretentious thing on the planet, and I don't view it that way because we're stuck together on a tour bus. That sounds so pretentious, but like there is limited space, and even in like the bunk alley where the bunks are, like if someone needs to walk past another, tour bus is rad and it's great, but it is also not a lot of space. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's great. So I don't want to I'm not talking smack. I will, dude. I have some of the best sleep on that bus.
Do you really?
Oh my God, it just rocks me.
I
fucking love it.
True, I forget about that.
And then the noise of the generator, I fucking love it.
So you get that
it's my
natural
favorite
movement.
It's
You get
like
that
that noise
natural
machine.
white noise.
dude,
Yeah.
That's
some of the best sleep I've ever had.
About that. You're always driving, and
I love it. But so when we get to a venue in the morning, everyone has their own routines. Like for me, like I'll wake up and I'll make a coffee in the lounge and then smoke my cigarette, and then I'll walk into a town and go to a bakery. Get a dude, if you've never had a fresh German pretzel with butter
Oh,
that sounds amazing.
and a cappuccino, solid.
When is the Rock AM Ring? Is that what is it? The
Rock'em Ring.
Rock'em Ring.
So that's Rock'em Ring and Rock'em Park.
Okay.
They're the same, basically the same organizers, but just two different.
And they're going to be both in Germany?
Yeah.
What city?
Let me get my phone.
Oh, don't worry about it now. Don't worry about it now.
I'll send you the schedule and stuff too.
Yeah, because I've seen other like bands and headline like play Rock'em Ring, and that looks like such a cool festival.
Yeah, that's a bucket list. So I'm like pretty stoked.
So when we have to
go
look
to
at
Germany?
we have to look at the set list, Michelle. We have to go somewhere in the world and go.
You gotta- no, honestly,
at home
like-
and out, away
Yeah.
from home.
If it's Europe, we always have a couple extra bunks on the bus for like when friends come out.
That's
So
awesome.
just keep me posted on that
is
kind of stuff.
awesome.
Or if you ever go to anywhere with us, go to Japan.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
Japan.
That's a future trip.
I love Japan so much. I mean, I love Germany and I love Europe a lot for great beer, great food, great people. Like it's just rad. But Japan, first off, my mouth just watered thinking about like food.
Food?
But the
that'd be my
people are
favorite.
like Japanese people are just great. They're so nice, so welcoming, and it's just so larger than life there. And like all the like temples and cherry blossom season, which is I think right now is
Right
like,
now.
gorgeous time to be there. But like, yeah, Japan is awesome. But we're like Justin Bieber in Japan. Like
Man.
Zebrahead is massive in Japan.
That's so cool.
If you ever come down, it is great.
You ever seen that movie Lost in Translation?
Yeah.
Bill Murray. Isn't that a great movie?
That is a great movie.
I want to stay at that hotel. If you ever watch that movie, I want to sit there.
Not
like
a lot of
Anthony
people like that
Bourdain.
movie because it's like an odd movie,
because
right?
It's very
Like
indie. It's very like
He
a.
likes some odd movies.
I'm a weird guy, Adrian. I'm very weird. But you know what? I go, man. One day when you guys go, I would love to go. Obviously, watch the show, but interview you in a different country.
Oh, that'd be
talk
fun,
about
yeah.
like in the middle of the tour. We got to do that.
if we do it, we gotta do the interview at this place called Yamachan.
Okay.
So Yamachan is probably the best chicken wings on the planet, hands down.
Oh my God.
And it's funny. The band has loved Yamachan. I didn't know anything about it because I'd never been to Japan prior to the Zebrahead, you know. And they took me to this place, Yamachan. It was created in Nagoya, and Nagoya is a very famous city for chicken wings. Like,
Wow.
but specifically Yamachan the chain. So we always go there when we're there. To the point, and we love it so much that the owners of Yamachan made us our own custom shirts with our faces on it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we got a private tour of their kitchen and their headquarters and stuff. It was like so random, but oh my God, these chicken wings, dude, they're so crispy and the spicy and like, oh my God.
He's on my mouth watering now.
So, all right.
I really want
they
them.
even have like a formula of how you have to eat it. So it comes with the wing. You pull the wing off,
Okay.
right? The little winglet.
Yeah.
And then you grab it and you literally just rip it out. And everything just comes off.
That's
And all
how you
left
know
with
they
is bone.
cook them well.
And then you just have this tin, and it comes in a literally like a pyramid, a stack. It's gorgeous. I've tried to
How
recreate
far
it
is
so
that
many
city
times.
from Tokyo? I mean, is it?
You can get it in Tokyo too.
Okay.
Yeah. So Yamachan is pretty much started to really franchise, and
Got it.
I think they're in Korea too. We just went to
Wow.
Korea. I think one of my band members was saying that they did like a a pop up in LA once. And
Nice.
this is before I ever knew about it, but
Yeah.
man, dude, we'll do the interview there. We'll just eating chicken wings, dude, drinking some good Japanese beer.
Adrian, I'm excited, man. My passport's already valid.
There you go.
Yeah, so I'm like, and I know Michelle's is
Always.
But dude, Adrian, I want to sincerely and heartfelt thank you for coming by the studio, man, making this
of
happen,
course.
because
My pleasure.
I know how busy you are juggling, your family man, music man, local man.
Yeah, but
global
this is a
man.
nice kind of break to just be able to talk to people and like,
Yeah,
it's
it is,
good.
huh?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good break, dude.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
come
thanks.
out on a Monday night or Wednesday night.
Yeah, anytime.
You do.
anytime.
Michelle, you haven't come out in a while, Michelle. It's
I
been a
haven't come
minute.
out in a while.
Turn
I
up.
haven't.
Let's get it.
Turn up. I'm hurting already.
I'll just keep you away from the Red Bull vodka so you don't feel
Yeah,
like me this
right?
morning, you know?
Yeah. Adrian. All right. Is there anything else that I'm missing before we wrap up here? Is there?
You know what? Maybe next time, if I do come back,
Yeah.
we'll swap some ghost and alien stories.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Michelle,
That's right up our alley there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
like.
So you
Yeah.
have some of these
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, let's do that next time.
All right, that's
Heck yeah.
because that's an episode.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, we can go on forever on those ones. Like,
Well, I mean, assuming that we survive the next couple seasons and
Oh, you'll do
finally
great.
get to watch Zebrahead live, and if not, just come down to Rancho Cucamonga where Adrian Estrella is performing live Mondays and Wednesdays, and
Saturdays.
probably the most approachable person on the planet.
yeah.
And he's so freaking cool, and I just want to say thank you and give it up for Adrian Estrella for
Thanks
first
for
time on the
Yeah.
show.
Thanks, guys. This has been awesome.
That was awesome.
Appreciate
Man.
you guys.